Hey guys, Mixed Media Girl here, and today we are doing an acrylic pour tumbler with beach themed colors. So to start off with here, I have a stainless steel wine tumbler. This one is, I believe, 12 ounces, and I pre-spray painted it with a matte white paint and primer. You can use any kind you want. I typically will use either Rust-Oleum or Valspar, but that's totally up to you. And I have this on my cup turner, and I have the cup over a canvas to catch the runoff paint so that I can do a 2-for-1 project here. Now, because I wanted to do beach themed colors, I started off with the sand, and I started off with actual sand color, but I didn't want to have it just be the one color, so I added some gold as well to have a little more depth and variety in my sand. Then I went on to my blues for the water, starting off with Deep Sea at the top. That's my darkest blue. And then I kind of did some stripes of that throughout my entire water section as well, because I wasn't going for, clear cut stripes of each color. Then I went with primary blue, and I overlapped that Deep Sea a little bit and also covered up more of my water area. And lastly, I put a little turquoise in there, and this is a turquoise. We call it turquoise. That's the actual name of the color for our company. These are all Mixed Media Girl pouring paints, but this is just a turquoise, and we call it turquoise because that's a lot of fun. Once I was more or less happy with my blues, I went in between the sand colors and the watercolors with white, and I went over the blue a little bit as well with the white to have some kind of crashing waves in the water. Now, because I wanted to make sure I had enough paint on the canvas and also just to get it so I was completely happy with my design, I kept going over some of the spots with the same colors just to make sure that I was pretty happy with it. Now you can kind of tell from here, but unfortunately my cup turner was not particularly level. I actually put the cup on the cup turner a little bit crooked, so that was kind of my bad, and you'll see what that does a little bit later on in the video. Once I was more or less happy with the cup, I moved the turner off, and then I tilted the canvas until I liked my design. One really cool thing about doing the cup over the canvas like this is instead of getting a kind of typical beach picture that is a little more clean and calm, you get this kind of chaotic beach scene, which to me is kind of like a hurricane or something like the beach in a hurricane. And I just think it was a lot of fun. I really like how this came out. And I like having the 2-for-1 projects, and I feel like I always waste less paint with that than I would just pouring on the tumbler with no canvas underneath. So tilt it until you are fully happy with your picture. You can add more paint if you'd like. I didn't have as much paint as I wanted, so I stretched it more than I typically have to. And then I put painter's pyramids underneath the corners of my canvas to raise it up so that it could dry fully. And a really important point is before I sealed these, I let them dry for several weeks. It's pretty hot in California and dry, so typically I'll let them dry for 2 to 3 weeks before sealing, sometimes a little bit longer. And also really important is to keep the cup turning on the spinner until it is fully dry. Don't stop it in the middle. Don't stop it after a couple hours. So I usually will leave it going overnight. And you can already see here that the gold is kind of creeping up into the blue. And that's kind of what happens when your cup is not level on the spinner. Either the blue will go down into the gold or the gold will go up. So you can see here, I have less water than I actually wanted to once the piece was fully dry. So after a few weeks, I seal it with resin, and I seal all of my tumblers with resin, and A, that's to make this food safe. This is food safe resin. And B, that's to fully protect it so that you can wash it, you can use it, and it won't get damaged. I still do not recommend putting it in a dishwasher, but you can hand wash totally fine. So I put the Mixed Media Girl Artist Resin on there and torched to get the bubbles out and let that spin on the spinner until that was completely dry again, which takes about 24 hours. So here's both pieces completely dry and basically ready to go. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all next time.